Hi there, this is day 2 of week 12 of 52 weeks of vlogging. At least I think it's still day 2. It's barely still day 2. And I actually have another video that I planned for today, but I hadn't edited yet, and then this thing came up, so I scrapped it, and that happens a lot. There's gonna be a whole bunch of videos where I don't say what day it is because I had to edit that part out because I filmed the video intending it for a certain day, and then I did something else instead. So just... But back to the reason I scrapped the video I had planned for today. There's this conversation that's been going on YouTube about fandoms and communities, specifically Nerdfighteria, of which I consider myself to be a part. And there are a couple things that have been said that I want to respond to. Actually, I'm only going to respond to one point today, possibly only one point ever, because the other point might make me sound mean-spirited or hurtful, and I don't want to come across as that. I mean, I can't say that I love John and Hank because I don't know them, not really, but I do like them. At least I like the versions of them that they put forward for us to see and interact with, and I really love what Nerdfighteria stands for, and I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings with my opinion. So I'm just going to keep it to myself because I don't want it to get misconstrued, and I don't know them well enough and they don't know me well enough for me to know that what I had to say would be received with good feeling. And now everyone watching this is confused. So I'm just going to say that if I have ever hurt your feelings, John and Hank, then I'm sorry. I don't know if this apology will ever suffice, but I hope that it will. I never meant to hurt anybody's feelings, and I hope you can accept my heartfelt apology if I did. Back to the whole Nerdfighteria fandom conversation. First, an explanation for those of you who are still confused. Nerdfighteria is a community of people who like John and Hank's videos that are posted on their Vlogbrothers channel, link in the description, and who also try to decrease world suck. Basically, that's it. Those are the criteria. Like their videos and decrease world suck. Oh, and also be a nerd, which just means you get really excited about the things that you love. Like, for example, I once got so excited about a gold-plated commemorative Star Trek movie disc that I shouted at the top of my lungs that I would pay $80 for it in one of those no minimum bid auctions, even though the current bid was like around the $40 mark. I am definitely a Star Trek nerd. So, yeah. But apparently, according to the Becoming YouTube video on Nerdfighteria, link in the description, Nerdfighters are all really juvenile and annoying and also apparently elitist and exclusive, which, no, actually. That really hasn't been my experience. Actually, let me clarify that. In the comments to Vlogbrothers videos, there are lots of people who say snarky things and say stuff that doesn't lead to intelligent or thoughtful debate or discussion. But in my actual in-person experience, Nerdfighters are actually pretty awesome. I found most of the Nerdfighters I met to be really, really nice when I went to a Nerdfighter gathering and when I've met them just by coincidence in places like bookstores and restaurants. They welcomed me at the gathering and they included me in everything. There was a lot of discussion of fandom-y things that I didn't completely get because I'm not up on Doctor Who and I didn't watch every single Vlogbrothers video ever. But, you know, if I just didn't get the joke, then someone just explained it to me. It was no big deal. I didn't feel all awkward about it. That's not to say none of the people I met in person were withdrawn, that nobody just talked to one or two people, but I think those things are more a function of their own personal shyness than of any feelings of elitism or exclusivity. Most Nerdfighters are teenagers and they're still coming into their own in terms of figuring out what they're about and what they stand for politically and what they want to do with their life in this big old world. And yeah, that snarky YouTube comment might be a 40-year-old just being a butthead, but it might also be a 12-year-old who's experimenting with snark for the first time because that's just what 12-year-olds do. And I think that jumping on anybody in any fandom or counterculture just for being at the stage of social development that they're at is kind of exclusive-y. Like, you can't be part of this because you're not socially mature enough. Like, what is that? That's not cool. Because those socially awkward years are the time when you most need to feel like you're a part of something. And while we're on the subject of exclusivity, most teenagers, especially the nerdy ones, are looking for a place to belong in a world where most people have said, no, our group is not for you. I think the desire to have something that's truly yours because the people who have excluded you in the past just don't want to be part of it in the first place because it doesn't interest them is a natural defensive response. I think it's unfair to criticize people for worrying that if the mainstream people take over, the place that they know and love and call home is suddenly going to turn into a place where they're, again, not welcome. I do think those worries are pretty unfounded, though. I mean, I really think Nerdfighteria is going to continue to be the wonderful counterculture community that it has been for a very, 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 very long time. I mean, yes, 1 million subscribers is a lot, especially compared to the movie channels and the music video channels. A lot. Like, really a lot. But the people who keep coming back to Vlogbrothers videos over and over and over, and the people who leave the comments, and the people who regularly watch the videos are way, way less than 1 million subscribers. Plus, people who watch YouTube is already a pretty small subset of the population at large. I mean, I know that to somebody whose spare time is mostly taken up by Doctor Who and the Mountain Goats and the Vlogbrothers and the bubble that is YouTube and Star Trek and Harry Potter, it seems like everybody's watching Vlogbrothers videos and saying DFTBA all the time, but like, no. Let's just be really clear. Everybody is definitely not doing that. It comes down to this. When you have a culture that says all are welcome, you have to mean it. And you have to know that as long as you are part of that culture, you're going to continue to help define it. Because a culture, any culture, is only what the people who are in it are doing and saying and being. You are Nerdfighteria, and Nerdfighteria is you. DFTBA. I'll see you tomorrow.